get this monthly newsletter that tells you what sort of trends are exploding, and it does it by kind of researching and having scripts that see what is trending on trends.google.com. And anyways, one of the trends that came back recently was pickleball. And my parents happen to be really into pickleball, and I was talking about how it's one of the fastest growing sports in America, and it's just getting more and more popular, especially with the older community who are looking for retirement centers that offer a lot of pickleball, whether it's pickleball classes, clinics, or just having a lot of courts. And so these retirement centers will pay I think $10 per click to get their retirement community to show up on Google AdWords. And I realized this could be a business opportunity to either, to first off, get in with content on the SEO side and to start ranking, to start a blog that ranks well for the pickleball keywords and to start kind of entering that space. And then I could see an extension of that where you go direct or you build a D2C business that is selling pickleballs, pickleball paddles, that sort of stuff. And the idea was, I was really stuck on the idea. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I really wanted to find out more. And it's tricky because the question I ultimately ask is, how much time should you how much time should you dedicate towards pursuing and finding out more about a side idea? And then how do you balance that out with all the current workload that you have? And I think about my current workload, like there's a lot going on with Reforge. I think about the regular blogging that I want to do and want to start back up in 2020. I think about the technical skills that I'm trying to develop right now, whether it's learning SQL, learning Python, etc. Becoming a better PM. And so how do you pursue this side venture? And the way I kind of did it, I broke it down into a few steps, and so I'm going to try to explain that here. First step is, if you cannot get it out of your head, then you should go ahead and pursue it. You should go ahead and do the research. And I think the reason why you want to do this is because you just want to get a feel for the idea and whether it's viable. And you don't want it just weighing on the back of your mind and kind of bothering you, right? It's like just better to go deep and figure out, okay, is this viable or is this not viable, as quickly as possible. And then from there, you can make an educated decision whether to move on versus not doing the research, putting it off and saying, yeah, I'll look into it some other time. And then wondering, if you don't get to it, wondering years later on, oh, was this a viable thing? So that's the first step. Making the decision that you're going to, if you can't get this idea out of your head, to quickly scope it and decide whether it is viable or not. So once you've made that decision, it's time boxing. You want to set constraints around how much time you're going to spend researching this before you have enough information to make a decision whether you're going to pursue it or not. And I really don't think, like, if you're spending a month just on the researching and the scoping, that's way too much time. For an idea like this, of this scope, I figured, okay, let me just research it for a weekend while I do my other things, right? It's not like I'm spending the whole weekend researching one idea, but I'm going to do it in this weekend. And will I have perfect total information? No, of course not. But I will have enough information to make a decision on whether or not this is something that I'm going to put something else down for in order to pursue right now. So the second step is time boxing. Number 3 is going about and doing the research. So for this particular idea, pickleball, here are kind of the steps that I went through. I dove into keyword research using Ahrefs, and then I looked at social media. So I looked at what are communities that are thriving in the space. I looked at the competitors in the space. I looked at who are the influencers in the space and what are their followings like. I looked at the costs of building building pickleball paddles, what they retail for, how much they sell for on Amazon versus how much they sell on Walmart, how much they sell directly from the manufacturers. So once I gathered up all that research, that was step number 3. Step number 4 is, what was step number 4? I guess step number 4 is developing what is your MVP product. So for me, the MVP product was, I'm not going to try to go and build a direct-to-consumer site on pickleball right away, because I don't really know that, right? So I need to think about what are my strengths and what can I do. And I know that creating a content site, so basically creating a blog and targeting these keywords, it's something that I can do. So I knew that would be the MVP. Step 5 is, okay, estimating the amount of time this would take based on all my research. And looking at it, like, I could tell that this would be a significant project. I think that it'd be a good site that would continue to grow. However, it's going to take significant amount of research and time in order to build out this content site. And then I would just multiply that by like another additional 50%, whatever I think it's gonna take. So if I think my first 5 blog posts is gonna take, let's just say, a month, then I should automatically budget 6 weeks for it, because they're just things that you don't know, and little steps that you missed along the way. So you can't accurately budget or accurately plan the time. So you're better off adding a buffer on top of it. So at that point, I know I've done the research. I know what the competitors are. I know the scope of the project. And I know an idea about how much time it will take. And then from there, just weighing the costs and the benefits. Is this something that I want to take right now? How does it fit in my list of priorities? So that's how I think about pursuing a side project when you are obviously have other obligations and you're trying to balance it out with work and with life.